Yeah. Okay, message has gone out to everybody. Welcome, Riri. Welcome to the COVID Break Freedom Sessions. It's December 17, 2020, and here we are. I'm Chris Henry. I'm here with Bill Jacobs and our special guest, Tracey Celotti. Welcome to everyone. Welcome to our Instagrammers, our YouTube watchers, and our live watchers as well. It's a pleasure to be here again for another Thursday. And Phil, you were saying that you can't wait for this each week, right?
I can't wait for this each week because I get to come in and I get to see your beautiful smiling face.
Come on, come on.
And we get to We get to talk about our week, and then talk about some things that we know wisdom-wise, and just sharing like what tools maybe we use to get through some of the things that are going down. If you're in Toronto, I know what's going on in the rest of the world, but the threat and the scare and the fear of it might be another lockdown coming.
We're in the red. We're in the red, and maybe we might go to the gray. They're talking about a little bit. There's a little bit of inkling for that. But before we get into that, I wanted to welcome and thank you for coming, Tracey Celotti, who's here with us today. Thank you, Tracey, for being here. Beautiful, beautiful soul, beautiful spirit, who I met, and we're really honored for you to be here. And your background is life coach, trainer, model, addiction counselor, and mompreneur, right?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
Well, you're welcome. It's pretty much just a free flow, and our topic today is compassion, right, Phil? Can you tell us about that?
I definitely can. Thank you for asking, Chris.
Yeah, no worries.
So in our previous sessions, we've talked about the emotions and the virtues, and this week, last week was talking about fear and wisdom, which was related to the kidney system, and this week we're at compassion, which is, I think, so important right now. Self-compassion, especially, and that's the virtue, and the emotional content. That's the flip side of that, is anger and frustration. And we relate that in traditional medicine to the liver system, which is related to the tendons and the emotions and the element wood. And the liver system ensures the free flow of chi, energy, circulation, and those nice things that we want to be in the free flow. This is the organ system that actually governs that. So part of the liver system is that it stores memories, it plans, and it follows through. So when we plan and we follow through, if those things don't happen, there's anger and frustration, or frustration that something didn't turn out the way that we had envisioned. Interestingly enough, that the liver opens up in the eyes, so there's a bit of sight or visioning in there, so it can see things. So what we want to do is talk about what's happening personally, right? We're in a situation where we're told to stay inside, where we had plans at the beginning of this year, and that all got stifled, and we've had to adjust and adapt. And the frustration I know I felt has been immense and intense through this whole year. So there's some points and just some things to flow through with. Back to you, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, there's this whole thing of control happening where we're losing control of what we can do. We're getting put into a box, and you have to learn how to be comfortable with that. I know that one of the things that you just mentioned sort of triggered for me that this thing I brought up in the past, where when you're growing up and your parents, you think you have to be perfect all the time, and when things don't go right in life, it creates this like little mini trauma. For some reason, and it might be from something stuck in your energy, but it makes a little molehill into like a mountain.
Yes.
Right? And so how do you deal with that? I think maybe that's compassion. What's your take, Tracey? What do you think about compassion and dealing with things?
My dog.
Angel, of course.
She wants to get on this conversation.
Yeah, she has some input.
So it's hard for me to hear because she was barking so much. Do you mind repeating that question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying, just asking an open-ended question about compassion and how do you think that's related with our current situation, and how do you use compassion through your day? Because I know you have a lot of clients, you deal with addiction clients, and you deal with a sort of mental wellness clients, and people trying to move through things in their life and transform to their better self to reach their potential at work and at home and in life, you know. And so what's your take on the compassion and the role it plays?
I think it's so important to have a heart of compassion right now for people that are suffering. There's a lot of people that are suffering out there. And I think there is absolutely a fine line also with compassion, because I think a lot of people like to stay stuck. So, and that's where I come in as it's funny because I trained a client this morning, and I tend to coach him also. And when you're not doing the things you're supposed to be doing, right, you suffer consequences. Mm-hmm. If you're, you understand what I mean? Like if you're not eating clean, or if you're not getting proper sleep, or if you're just not managing your stress, it comes out in different ways. It's harder to manage life, right? And so I'm very honest. I'm in like, well, if you're not doing certain things, and just as an example, it's like he's so busy, right? Very, very busy. But that's where I come in as a coach, where I try to maybe slow things down. It's important. It's funny because I shared on my Instagram live yesterday about massive action. People that are taking massive action get phenomenal results, and they're there to win. But in that massive action, there has to be non-negotiables in the sense of how you start your day. And that will set the tone for the day, in the sense of being able to handle stress better. And in handling that stress better, we become more compassionate, right? But then, like I said, as I said, because there's a fine line, sometimes I have to be a little bit tough too, right? With people that know better and that take advantage of, if that makes any sense at all.
I like that. It does. It resonates with me. I learned that compassion was a hybrid of empathy and sympathy. So there's like you're saying, a fine line with like how much we empathize with somebody's situation rather than sympathize. And I feel like the sympathy is the hard boundary, and the empathize is like, okay, I can come in for a bit and feel what you feel, but I have to step back and take care of myself, and that's then the sympathizing part of the compassion. So I think you nailed it in describing that the fine line is there definitely has to be a boundary. You can't fall into somebody else's pit, let's say.
Yeah. Right. And also because like I as like human my human part of me is I am an empath, right? So I take on. So what I teach everyone that my clients in these groups is to protect your energy. It's very important to protect your energy. So from any of, and I believe when you do that, that's where you do find that fine line. It comes naturally. It's like it's a divine working through you. And whenever I work with people, I actually try to move self away, and I bring in the divine so that it's God working through me. It's not Tracey.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So for this week, I've just been putting stuff aside, all this noise it's creating. I'm just focusing on self and what I need to do for others, And one of the things that came out of it was that, someone said, there should be a place I can go to find out what are the tips I can do or do at home, because I'm at home all this time, and what am I going to do, And so the example I had was, well, you can't go to the spa. Why don't you do a spa day at your own house? You could order in the products and do the spa day yourself, your own facial. Or if you have a partner, you could each do a facial for one another, and you could do the bath. You can bring in the salts. You can just order a pack and bring it in. Yeah. Even get flowers in and put the petals in the bathtub. Like, people are just, they close off. So what's an example of something you do during this pandemic, Tracey, that's sort of at home or sort of homebound right now?
Homebound.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very blessed because anyway, I'm able to do other things away from home, but homebound, like even before I jumped on here, I center myself, right? I mean, I did my work this morning because I had a client even before that. I had a couple clients this morning, so she was my life coaching client first thing, and I always go out for a walk. For me, that's so peaceful, and that's connecting, and that grounds me. And you know, I go into prayer. That to me is self-love for sure. Coming back and doing some writing out, some gratitude journaling. Yeah, I definitely do. I had a bath, nice, hot, warm bath after my walk, and yeah, so things like that. Breath work. I did some breath work this morning, connecting with my breath. I'm very into this. I'm very, very disciplined when it comes to stuff like this. So yeah, I am blessed because I do have a client that has an infrared sauna. I do the PEMF table, the pulse electromagnetic frequency. Yeah, I do things like that. So
Good. That's great.
I have a diffuser on a lot. First thing in the morning, I put on my diffuser. Use some oils. Yeah.
Perfect. Good. All good suggestions. Hey, Phil, play us a
Chris.
song. Play us a song.
Thank you, Tracey, for sharing that the self-care is so important right now, and often when we don't have compassion for ourselves, the self-care goes right out the window.
And if you get caught up like your client in the outside and everyone else's stuff that they want you to do, you're putting your own self aside. That's not right.
They're like pirates.
Pirates.
That's where I gently lead them back.
I'm gonna get my pirate hat. I'm gonna get my pirate hat now.
Can you go get it?
I will.
Okay. Oh, pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ship. Minutes after they took her from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. So won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? Is all I ever have. Redemption song. Redemption song. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of that can stop the time. How long shall we kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? No, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. So won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? Is all I ever have. Redemption songs. Redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of that can stop the time. How long shall we kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? No, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. So won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? Is all I ever have. Redemption song. All I ever have.
redemption song. These songs of freedom, redemption song. Just take a nice deep breath. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Nice. I like your pirate hat.
Thank you. I know I went and got that.
What were we talking about?
It's crucial. Every wardrobe needs a pirate hat.
It does.
We need
So let's talk about, was that Bob Marley Redemption song?
It's Bob Marley Redemption song. And
Thank you. There's the call out for it.
Yes, exactly. And the pirates, right? Like we were talking about thoughts and things that take us out of alignment. The internal pirates is what distracts us, man, and that it immediately affects the liver system, and then can cause that frustration because we're not grounded in ourselves. We've been taken outside of ourselves. What we need to do is bring ourselves back in. And my favorite thing to do is singing songs. And creating and writing and all of that. So that really helps soothe, and even just toning. In medical qigong, the tone for the liver is shh. Just that sound. Yeah, it really is. It's shh, yeah, and it's funny. And like when we were kids, or we were acting out, or we needed to calm down. What would my mom do? My mom would be shh, 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 it's okay. Shh, 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 shh. It's very interesting. But if you say, even if you just try it on yourself, you go shh, you can feel a calmness come over yourself. It just feels weird to do it if you're out in public and you're like shh, 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 shh. But you can feel movement with that vibration, with the tongue on the top of the palate, and then just moving the air through and just creating that sh sound. And it's soft, right?
Yeah.
So it's a softening, and allows for a bit of flow.
So the music is grounding you, and Tracey talked about walking, connecting with nature for grounding, and I know Tracey has many practices that allow her to ground through the day. You also do something that one of my other spiritual advisors calls the spiritual quickie during the day to ground yourself. That's what he calls it, where he meditates throughout the day. I think I do it through the morning, and then you can also just do it also through your thoughts and words and how you conduct yourself in the day, but you really need to be grounded. What else can people do that might be watching ground themselves, Tracey? What would you suggest?
Well, it's funny you said
the life of compassion. Go ahead.
That Philip loves to sing. My daughter, she loves to dance. That's how she expresses herself. So when she's going through things, she dances and she gets very creative, and she's like, and she was doing these questions she had to answer these questions actually, and she was saying them out loud, and when she spoke, I was just like, I was so impressed, and how I didn't realize the depth of, like, you probably, when you sing, she dances and she gets very, moves her body. And I think that's incredible. Like, to have these other, my Sienna and my other daughter, they like to draw. Like, they're incredible artists. So you just got to really find out what's good for you. I'm more like into nature, hiking, and I go out for a run, but I also do a process. It's called tapping, emotional freedom technique, where you tap on the meridians. And I find that also very, very helpful when I'm going through anything, or if I want to shift something, get out of something and get me into a direction. I find
that's great. Like, what is, thank you for sharing that. I was going to ask you what would be the immediate, I would say, if there's a couple of places to tap, if somebody's feeling frustrated or angry, or if they wanted to move through that, where would be an appropriate place to just, start that?
On the karate chop. Yeah, right there.
Right there. Okay, let's do it. I mean, you're going to come across different energies and situations that arise things in you throughout the day. What's the way to X those things out or deflect them?
I go into positive, like affirmations for me are very, very powerful. I even keep a book with me, and I've memorized so many. I mean, I do Bible scripture also in the morning, so on my walk. So I have so many things that I've memorized through the years that it just comes automatically now. I've rewired my brain, and that when something comes in, it's like I bring something better. But I see so clearly, because I had this conversation actually yesterday with I was in the infrared sauna with my client, and my oldest daughter was there, and I was telling a story about first thing in the morning when I was doing all my readings and whatnot, and I went downstairs, and my basement was messy because my daughter hadn't cleaned up after she taught a class, and I remember the thoughts going through my head, and I bumped in to a piece of equipment, like right here. I went back, and I realized after, I'm like, that's how quick my mind goes from positive to a negative. I noticed I'm like, little bugger, she didn't clean up after herself. And I was like, bam, okay, back into the home. So yeah. I recognize it, and I go right back to the positive. And I release the frustration immediately. Because I look at little things like that, I'm so aware. I look at my thought pattern when that happened. And my thought pattern was frustration, because I went from here to there, seeing the mess. So it's that fast how, and I had just been reading a book. This shows you, I find it fascinating, honestly. And then I got right back on. Because to me, that's just like a wake up call.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, if you lose that compassion, you need to get back on track and ground yourself. So you have it again.
But you said you said a key point. You noticed it.
Oh yeah.
You noticed it, and then you were able to pull yourself out of it. I think that's the key part in the practice, is like, yes, it does happen, but like, how quickly can I notice it and take myself out of it, and can I notice it before I react?
Yeah, I can get rid of it in, like, some people say 10, 20, or 30 seconds, right?
Oh yeah, immediately.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that when I went to the floor and my dog was licking me all over.
Oh, amazing.
Talk about compassion to the extreme, complete love.
Beautiful.
So it's like, I think the more you get in tuned, and the more you, like, so many positive things. Like, something will happen with my kids, and then a phone call will come in, and I'll be like, I'll be lifted up again. Yeah. Because this is, if you're a mother of 4 kids, or if you have even 1 kid or 2, it's so easy, because they will test you, right?
Yes, they will.
Just a little bit. That's coming. The other one, go ahead.
No, I just said what Philip said is so true. It's how fast you get back on. And that's where I trained myself to thank God. I've had to, because I've hit bottom in my lifetime enough times that I'm not going back there.
Yeah.
I feel
that. And I got tingles when you said that. It was so many times at rock bottom. I'm not going back there ever again. And it's like that key of knowing what is okay for me and what is not okay for me. And rock bottom is not okay for me anymore.
I hear you.
And I know the path there, so I'm very careful around noticing. Are these steps that are going to lead me towards that, or is that going to carry me through that way, man? So the experience and the wisdom of our past is helping. It's helping well, and the memory of the, I want to say the shit time, the rock bottom, but it was the learning experience that came through. We can have great gratitude and gratefulness for it, so we know to stay out of it.
Yeah, sometimes those things come along and you don't really want them, but sometimes they are what you actually need, don't you think, Bill?
Totally.
And maybe that's a song.
Oh,
isn't it?
You're the master. You are the master, Chris. And before I start the song, do you have any last parts of your wisdom that you want to share, Tracey?
No, I think it's all been covered, honestly.
Beautiful.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Thank you so much. I love this.
You're so welcome.
Come back every week. You're very welcome.
Just join us.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're here anyway. With hats, with different hats.
With different hats.
Take it away.
Okay. I'm gonna wear my Thor hat next week.
I don't think he wears a hat. He has horns, I think.
Oh, okay. The song is I Can't Always Get What I Want by the infamous Rolling Stones.
Saw her today at the reception, a glass of wine in her hand. I knew she would meet her connection. At her feet was a footloose man. No, you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometime, you might find you get what you need. Oh, you get what you need. I went down to the demonstration to get my fair share of abuse, singing, we're gonna vent our frustration. If we don't, we're gonna blow a 50-amp fuse. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. No, you can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need. I went down to the Chelsea drugstore to get your prescription filled. I was standing in line with Mr. Jimmy. Man, did he look pretty ill. We decided that we would have a soda. My favorite flavor, cherry red. I sung my song to Mr. Jimmy, and he said one word to me, and that was dead. I said to him, I can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need. Oh, you get what you need. Ooh. I saw her today at the reception. In a glass was a bleeding man. She was practiced at the art of deception. Well, I could tell by her blood-stained hands. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes you might find you get what you need. Oh, 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 hey, hey. You might get what you need. Ooh.
I think it was a great pick, Chris. Thanks for the reminder to sing that song, because in those moments of like, it's like what you need is right in front of your face. And I think you brought up a great example, Tracey, of like when you took that second and you laid on the floor, your doggy was right there giving you so much love.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome. Thank
It's
you.
beautiful.
Thank you. That was incredible. You have a
Yeah.
beautiful voice. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Tracey. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks again for being with us, Tracey. And we're a little bit over time, but I think it's all perfect, as Tracey would say. And I just want to extend the love and fire energy in our hearts and souls to everyone who watches this video and doesn't. The energy is still out there so that you can experience love, compassion, joy, peace, and truth for the rest of your day. And until next week and the next Thursday, COVID Freedom Session with Chris and Phil and another special guest. So thanks to all.
Peace.
And yep, peace and truth. All the best and love. Bye now.
Ah,
Mwah.
Have fun.
bye.
Bye.